Good afternoon, everyone. I hope that you are doing well this Saturday on the Sabbath day. It is the afternoon of the Sabbath. Obviously, people are coming back from their respective churches, and others are watching different sporting codes, including the playoffs to get into the Betway Premiership. But today, I want to talk about what is 40 years to Unkulunkulu. Because I was reading a passage from the Holy Bible, which said God has taken the people of Israel from the slavery or the servitude of Egypt to the wilderness, and they survived the wilderness for 40 years. So, what is 40 years to Unkulunkulu? And what is 40 years to a slave? And were those Hebrew slaves or Israeli slaves even conscious of time? If they were enslaved and their purpose was to just work only, so how were they even able to measure that it is 40 years? Or did they get all their information from Moses, who had a privileged upbringing, uh, residing in the Pharaoh's household? In the wilderness itself, we are told that when Moses went away to the mountain, he returned when his people were worshipping a calf, which they had created out of their wealth and worldly possessions to create a bigger worldly possession, which is a community bank or a communal bank of all their wealth, at least their mineral wealth. But the mistake that they made, of course, was to praise that calf. And when Moses returned, that is what he noticed first, because he already had the Ten Commandments from Horeb. So to him, these people could not lead themselves for a moment without him, uh, which was a problem to him. That is why he said, those who want to continue worshipping the calf must be on the one side, and those who want to continue with the Ten Commandments and following God's instruction to one side. And then there was a civil war in the wilderness, which was won by Moses' faction, because obviously God gave Moses and his faction a lot of anger and a justifiable cause, because nowadays people were worshipping the calf and they wanted to go back to the Pharaoh, but mainly because they were worshipping the calf. So they had created a cult of a calf worship, just like the Indians. But of course, the Indians are Hindu, so many of them are Hindu by anyway. So you will remember there was a case in the past which was reported a number of years ago where in one of the states in India, a Muslim man was killed because he slaughtered a cow. So, of course, that is something else. It's outside of the Bible, but it obviously can bring a lot of differences in terms of living together in a cosmopolitan world where other people worship a calf or a cow, but others eat it as food, and others maybe because they didn't have cattle in the wilderness, perhaps, and they were hungry, so now they had to create an artificial cow, maybe to show Moses that they were hungry. Maybe that is how they were communicating with him artistically, to say, we were not hungry in Egypt. Now in the wilderness, we are hungry, so we are weaker than we were when we left Egypt. I don't know whether that was what they were communicating in an artistic way. Those who chose to repent were forgiven by Moses. Those who decided to fight on his faction, on God's faction, because God had given Moses' faction the anger and the ability to defeat the other faction. So there is a lot of arguments to be made for personal choice and also misunderstanding of what the people in the wilderness were communicating to Moses. But of course, Moses interpreted that as a lack of faith to say, even if we don't have water, I can beat a rock and water will come out because I believe in God. Even if we are hungry, birds will come from the sky and then we'll be fed. We just have to be faithful to God and His commandments. Of course, now when Moses moves forward from that episode, he has a new army which is committed to him 100%, but it is fewer because he has destroyed the rest of his army for worshipping the calf, the golden calf. But of course, that shows the grace of Moses himself as a man and as a prophet to say that these people had created the calf together. So, meaning that, and they were worshipping the calf together, meaning that all of them, in actual fact, except perhaps for Aaron and a few others, were worshipping the calf. But Moses forgave them for worshipping the calf and gave them a choice to turn back from their worship of the calf. So, meaning that worshipping the calf was already a crime according to the commandments, but Moses' grace actually and the giving of those people a choice to choose now whether they continue with their mistake or they repent from their mistake of worshipping a golden calf which they created with their own hands using their own artistic abilities. So that is the sermon for today to remind us of the anger and the grace of Moses and the freedom of choice that he gave people when they'd already committed a sin according to a pre-agreed covenant with his God, which he found while he was on the run from the Pharaoh. Thank you.